So before there was a Gilles Tremblay and a Guy Carbonneau and a Bob Gainey and a Butch Goring and all the great defensive players of the 70s and 80s, there was this guy, Jerry Toppazzini, beautiful name by the way, came to major prominence mostly for the Boston Bruins as a skilled defensive specialist and penalty killer, and he eventually set the then NHL record for shorthanded goals in a season in 1958 with 7 for the NHL record. Now, born in Copper Cliff, Ontario, he came to major prominence by playing his minor hockey with the Copper Cliff Junior Redmen of the NOJHA in 1958, and he eventually played for them in the Memorial Cup playoffs in that campaign. 1949, he found himself with the Great St. Catharines TPs of the OHA Junior League with 24 goals in 45 games. 1950, he was with the Barrie Flyers and put up some nice numbers. Second year with the Flyers was his career year as a minor leaguer. 90 points in 54 games, 16 points in the playoffs, and 18 points in the Memorial Cup playdowns. Now, in that Memorial Cup, he helped the Flyers to his first Memorial Cup championship, again 34 points in 23 games. Now, upon his graduation from Major Junior, he signed with the Bruins, and he spent the following season with their American Hockey League farm team, the Hershey Bears. He played with his younger brother Teddy and helped the Bears to a division title with 20 goals and 45 assists and 45 points in 54 games. Now, in the 1953 campaign, he eventually made his NHL debut with the Bruins, scoring 23 points in 69 games. The following season, splitting time between Hershey and a major league club, he was traded to the Blackhawks for center Gus Brodnar, but it was subsequently dealt to the Detroit Red Wings in an 8-man multiplayer deal, at the time the largest transaction in league history. But of course, like many player trades back then, it didn't last. He was sent back to the Bruins in 1956 for center Murray Costello and left wing Lauren Ferguson. Toppazzini made an immediate impact as the Bruins, in last place at the time, made a run for the playoffs, missing at the end by a single victory or 2 points. Now, wearing number 21, Toppazzini remained with Boston for the next 9 years, blossoming into a skilled two-way player while playing on a line with Don McKenney and hard-hitting left wing Fleming Mackel. The trio was Boston's best line as he surged to the Stanley Cup Finals in 1957, knocking off heavily favored former Cup champion Detroit Red Wings en route to losing to the Habs in the finals. His best season on the stats line was 1958, where he had a career-high 25 goals in the regular season and added 9 goals in the Stanley Cup playoffs, which include a hat-trick against the Rangers and 3 game-winning goals. Now, that 57 Cup final loss to the Habs was a very even series, but Montreal won that as part of their 5 straight of the late 1950s and early 60s. Now, his best season after that was 62, when he scored 19 goals en route to a career-high 50 points. Always a fan favorite, he won the Elizabeth C. Dufresne Trophy twice in a row, in 57-58 as the best performing and most popular Bruin at home games. He was noted in his time with the Bruins for his crazy chatter in the locker room, according to teammate Bronco Horvat. He said of his teammate, which he called Topper, he was always giving everybody the business, keeping up a competitive atmosphere. It drove me nuts. Now, Boston eventually traded the fading Toppazzini in the 64 offseason, and he played the remaining 4 seasons of his career in the minor leagues, spending the 1965 campaign with Pittsburgh Hornets of the AHL. His rights were then acquired by the LA Blades of the WHL in the 65 reverse draft. He initially held out before joining the Blades for the 66 and 67 seasons. He finished his playing career in 1968 as the player coach of the Port Huron Flags of the IHL. Now, ironically, he holds a distinction in NHL history, as on October 16, 1960, Toppazzini substituted for Boston goaltender Don Simmons, which we were talking about in a previous podcast, who was injured with 30 seconds left in the match against the Chicago Blackhawks, in which the Bruins were losing 5-2. At the time, teams were not required to carry a backup goalie on the bench, although were required to have one available in the arena. Reportedly, Toppazzini did not wait for the Blackhawks house goaltender to suit up, and he faced no shots in his brief stint. By the 1965 playoffs, the NHL ruled that all teams must have a spare goalie on the bench and ready to play. Toppazzini is thus the last position player to substitute in goal during an NHL match. After his retirement as a player, Toppazzini was named head coach of the Springfield Kings of the AHL in '72, but was let go after 2 seasons in which the Kings finished in last place both years. He went on to coach the great Sudbury Wolves of the OHA between '75 and '77, and met with much better success, leading the team to a first and second place finish, and he won the OHA's Coach of the Year prize in '76. After his retirement from coaching, Toppazzini settled in Sudbury, where he opened a men's clothing store. He also opened a well-known Bruins themed bar in Sudbury known as the Beef and Bird. He was also very active in local charity efforts. Toppazzini died on April 21st, 2012, following a short illness, much to the sadness of his many fans across North America and the world. Now, final NHL totals, very impressive: 783 games, 477 points, 163 goals, and in the playoffs, including that big run in 57-58, where he scored 9 goals, 13 goals, 9 assists, and 22 points in 40 games. He was named to play in the NHL All-Star Game in 55, 58, and 59. He also played in a benefit All-Star Game between the NHL All-Stars and the Bisons of Buffalo in February '59. He led the NHL in NHL game in games played with 70 and in 59-62. Now, Toppazzini's older brother Zilo, a longtime star for the minor league Providence Reds, also played the NHL for the Bruins and the Rangers between '49 and '51. On March 27, '58, Toppazzini scored a big overtime goal in the semifinals, defeat the Rangers 4-3. His grandnephew Justin Williams also played in the NHL, starting in the 2000 campaign. Now, as of October 2020, Toppazzini ranks 30th in Bruins history with 151 regular season goals scored. As of November 2014, he's also 31st in Boston history in regular season points scored. Now, transactions, a lot of great players involved. We talked about the Gus Bodner trade. Now, that May 27, '55 trade, traded to the Detroit Red Wings with Dave Crichton, Gord Hollingsworth, and John McCormack for Tony Leswick, Glenn Skove, Johnny Wilson, and Benny Wolt. Traded to Boston with Real Chevriels for Murray Costello and Lauren Ferguson. Traded to the Blackhawks for Matt Ravlich, for Murray Balfour and Mike Draper. Again, interleague traded to the Pittsburgh Hornets for Hank Salisa. And again, June 9th, '65, claimed by the LA Blades in the reverse draft. So a great career in hockey. One of the biggest players of his era too. 6'1". You say 6 feet. I've seen him listed as 6'1", 205, big right winger. But like I said, that aggressive defensive forward, and every goal he scored was big. That's what my dad tells me. So anyway, thanks for listening. Give us a like, comment, or subscribe if we're like we're doing here. Thanks for stopping by. Let us know how we're doing. Have a good day. Bye.